Last time on Urban Stars, we planned a heist to steal a fuel cell from a moon. Let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is find this YT-1430. You guys have been underground, deep underground for about 6 months now. But you guys have been an underground rebel cell for about 2 years. Now, in that time span, and we'll kind of unpack that in flashback format. Trust me, I realize we did not address the time skip. I know that. When we started Urban Stars, we were at 12 BBY. We are now at 10 BBY, just to give everybody a clear picture of what the time frame is that we're working within.
Can you give people an idea of what 10 BBY actually means in the whole?
So 10 BBY is 10 years before the Battle of Yavin, which is kind of the big event in the Star Wars movies that starts the timeline over. So 10 BBY is essentially measuring distance between now and the destruction of the first Death Star. And so that's where we are in the timeline. So essentially, Order 66 happens around, was it 21 or 19?
17.
17?
Yeah, technically 17, end of 16, yeah.
No, because Taniel created the Storm Commandos in 19. And Felucia was destroyed, like the Jedi Temple on Felucia was destroyed in 18.
I'll double check.
You should.
I want to say it was 19 too, because
I think it was 19.
Because the first Storm Commandos were actually assigned over to Vader.
Yep.
And when did the rebellion actually start?
The rebellion pseudo begins around 5.
Okay, so we're not even there yet.
So 5 BBY is when the actions of Star Wars Rebels, the very fantastic TV show, takes place. Like, that's when they kind of start up their business. So we're about 5 years now before those events.
Gotcha.
So if there is any form of long-term galactic rebellion, it has not reached Terrace. The resistance here is specifically for the people of Terrace. And so kind of we're going to collect this fuel cell. We're doing this big moon heist to collect a fuel cell. But really what we're going to see a lot of in these events coming up is, why do the people of Terrace need a resistance? Why does it matter? What are we resisting
19
against?
BBY, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Boom, bada bing. So the first step is for you guys to find this YT-1430. Let's go ahead and start playing these events out. If you listen to the last episode, maybe you already have. You've got a general timeline of what we're going to go through, but now we're going to actually play through those scenes that we set up, starting with the Destiny pool that we had left over after our last episode, which is 6 light side points and 2 dark side points. So you guys have a pretty hefty pool to use. The YT-1430 is not an easy one to find. Who do you take with you, Lukia? You've told Lugnug, hey, I can make this happen. I can find us a ship, and I can find us a way to pay for it. The first step is going to be to find the ship and find out how much you got to really steal.
Right.
So let's get that party started. You're using your black market contacts to find this thing. So you're sitting in probably the lower city?
Definitely.
You think so? Lower city, in some dingy cantina. Is anybody with you from the party?
Not
or
right.
Are you by yourself?
Not right now, just to find out if I can get a hold of it.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a YT-1430 right now. It's just, that's what my eye's on. That's probably, think of it like in the scene with Firefly when Mal finds the Firefly. It's like he's looking through a junkyard of ships.
Okay.
And finds, and it clicks. It feels like home to me.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why I'm going to meet with one of my contacts to see if I can't get a ship on the cheap, and narrowly we'll go to his junkyard, and that's when I'll see it.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good. So let's say you meet with this guy.
Okay.
He is a Celestin who mans one of the junkyards here on Terrace. There hasn't been a ton of business in the starship business lately. He deals mostly with the land speeders and air speeders and things like that, because that's mostly what people on Terrace do, and the Empire kind of has their own junk mechanics, and so they don't generally send their old ships down here. Really, this is where personal transports get sent in order to be torn apart for parts. So you see this squat little monkey man, this Celestin, goes up to the bar, orders his drink, and comes over to you. He's got a set of coveralls on that are tanned over a white stained shirt, very hillbilly, redneckish, with one button unbuttoned, of course. And he sits down across the table from you, sipping a green glowing drink.
So, George, how you been these past few months?
Well, you know, the wife, the kids, I got them.
Well, yeah. Last I heard, you were up to your 6th kid. Is that right?
It's 7 now, bud.
Oh, wow!
Or
Congratulations! Congratulations!
There you are. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be congratulating anybody on 7 kids in the lower city of Terrace, but here we are.
Well,
Thanks.
Isn't your oldest going to school, or did he drop out again?
Again, he never went back.
Oh, okay.
We can't afford schools. What do you think we are?
Well, I mean, you've got a fairly good, reputable junkyard from last I heard.
Yeah, we haven't had much business since Taniel took over.
Oh man, everybody's complaining about Taniel. You know, I can't stand the ruddy bastard.
He's taxing me into oblivion. You would be surprised to see me in the next 6 months.
Well, I'm glad I caught you when I did. I might have a spot of business for you if you're willing to show me what you got in the shop.
Business, you say? I got a couple, let's call them foreclosures, things that I had to repo, which set me back a pretty dime. Not only people not paying, but then I got to pay, hunters to come and get this stuff for me.
Hey, I know how it goes. You know me. We go back a few years at least. I mean, you helped out the gang with the swoop bike, so figured you might be able to help me out now. So, you feel like showing me your wares, or do I need to show cash up front?
Tell you what, why don't you meet me in my yard tomorrow morning early, probably before the sun rises would probably be best, and I'd say you'd be pretty safe to bring. I hate to do it to you, Lukia, because I know you know me, you've helped me out of quite a pinch before, but it's to the point where I got to either put food on the table or let my family die, so I got to charge you 15,000 credits.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, at least I've got a number to start with going in, so that at least puts me ahead of the game. I know normally you like to spit, shine, and haggle with the best of them, so...
Yeah, I mean, this thing is probably worth a good 40, so I'm giving you a good cut.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, so... Well, if you don't mind, I'd at least like to take a look before I'd give you the promissory note of the 15, so...
And he kind of lowers his voice and lowers his head. Look, you know I'm taking a risk being seen with you right now.
I know, but don't...
Your name's plastered all over everything.
Well, yeah, I know, but,
I can't bring you to my shop in broad daylight.
I'm not asking you to bring me here now. I don't mind meeting you at midnight if I have to, but I at least need to see what I'm looking at before...
Tomorrow morning.
Okay.
That's all I can do.
I'll make sure to have the credits to you when we're ready to make the deal. We can do that at any time. You just let one of the boys know. I'll be sure to keep them close.
Try to bring it tomorrow.
Okay.
You can roll me a insight's not really a thing in this game, I don't think. Do a perception. Probably perception and cunning works. You're trying to get some empathy going. So,
yeah.
What are the boost dice for?
I get boosts to perception.
In what scenarios?
Let's see. It is uncanny senses. Add a boost per rank of uncanny senses to all perception checks.
Okay, great.
So it's
if it says all, go for it.
Yeah.
Bingo. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like add to perception checks when you're in the darkness or whatever.
Oh, sorry, grabbed one too many.
Some of those boost things get kind of specific.
Yeah, I know they do, but it's to all.
Yep.
Ooh.
Well, crap ton of advantage, but 1 success.
Roll 2 purple. Sorry, I gotta get back into Star Wars mindset. It's an average roll.
Well, never mind. I failed with a crap ton of.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. I forgot to ask too. I wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm still in the L5R.
Do you just want me to re-roll the pool then?
Yeah, reroll the pool.
Okay. This time a crap ton success and a couple advantage, a couple advantage.
Okay, cool. So what's the total? Because crap ton isn't a number.
Well, it is.
Well, it's
It's 2,000 pounds of crap.
That's fair.
It's 4 success, 2 advantage.
Wow. Cool. So you definitely get the sense from him that he is desperate enough that, like, if you don't kind of do what he says, he may turn you in. Like, if you don't bring some credits with you, then things can get a little dicey.
A little hinky.
Yeah. And I'll go ahead and flip, to be fair, I'll flip a dark side point to add that kind of obstacle to the upcoming exchange.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. I say thanks again. I know you're sticking your neck out for me. I'll be sure to have the credits, or at least a good amount of the credits, and run through an intermediary on whatever remains to be done, balance-wise.
And he raps on the table twice and says, "Good luck, Lucia, with whatever it is you're trying to get into." And he kind of looks over his shoulder twice and then scoots out of the booth and sticks his hands in his pockets and tries to look as nonchalant as he can as he exits the cantina. Let's go ahead and you've made this contact, you've made this timing, this date to meet with him. So let's go get funding. Let's move to the next scene. So that's 1 marked off. So where do you go, Lucia? This was your role as well. Where do you go in order to find this cash, as it were?
I would, once I get outside the bar and down a dark alley, if I need to make a streetwise check to make sure I'm not being followed.
So I think just to pause it. So these were set up as separate scenes. So you have an opportunity to collect party members or whatever.
Well, that's
else
what I'm
you
going to
need.
do. I'm
Okay.
kind of
Okay. You were just kind of narratively going there. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's why I said I don't know if I need to make it, but I'm just narratively describing what I would do.
Yeah. Go for it.
I would get on
That's
my
good.
comms and contact Udell and say, hey, meet me at Hans's old stomping grounds. We need to get in touch with him because we need to run probably something that he would be interested in.
Fair enough. I'll be there shortly.
So since we've spent a good portion of time with Hans, I still kind of technically work for him a little bit.
Well, you definitely know him well enough to get an audience, kind of thing.
Well, but
Well, some of y'all have those contacts.
well, that's what I'm saying. Remember, I got enough points with Hans to have him as.
Oh right, yeah. He's a contact. Perfect. So, how do you get in contact with him? Do you guys just go to his casino? Like,
Well, that's the plan, but I'm grabbing Udell so that way we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
run a kind of a gambling thing with Hans in the know, so that way it may or may not show up on the house records.
okay.
Because I figured at least if Hans can't help us, I mean, he still is a contact for me. We established that before
absolutely.
the time skip.
Yeah, that's during the training day. So you guys go to his casino and you're allowed in. You've gotten to know the doorman quite a bit with you being a contact of Hans's. Even though you're fairly wanted, that may or may not come up later. But right now, you're in good with the doorman. So you're allowed in, and you come into a casino that, when previously, like during training days, had been very, very popular and hopping, has it looks like Atlantic City. It's not highly populated. A lot of the people here are kind of old people playing penny slots kind of thing. There's not a ton of people at like the sabacc tables. There are a few dotted here or there, but they mostly look like kind of degenerates, guys that would kind of bet the house on the ponies type of thing, and kind of have nothing going for them. They all smell bad. They all look harried, including Hans, who is sitting up at the big center table, elevated above all the others. It's kind of like the show table for sabacc. He's got one other person at the table with him, It's a woman with black hair that you don't recognize, but she looks very official. She's not wearing Empire colors. She's wearing the uniform. The uniform.
You said she's uniform?
She's uniform.
She's wearing that uniform.
She in that good uniform.
I'm the uniform inspector. I need to come check this out.
I like a girl in uniform. She's wearing a uniform with the Terrace Civil Authorities colors and logo. Sitting there talking to Hans, who looks harried himself. His normally well done black hair is unkempt, and you can see a deep green and purple bruise on the entire left side of his face, showing through his blue chiss skin. He's wearing his normal white suit though, and it looks pretty well kept, minus a couple of wrinkles that normally aren't there.
Just real quick, remind me again, what was the amount that George gave me?
15,000.
15,000. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
that doesn't look promising.
Yeah, I mean, you had trouble getting 300. So,
Well, I'd walk up to the table and, kind of just give a curt nod to Hans and to the.
boys, where are my men? Please, somebody get these men some drinks. I'll be right with you. Let me finish this conversation just really quickly, and we will get underway. And so he finishes his conversation with this woman. Kind of, they get a little bit more hushed, and she seems kind of pointed and aggravated with her whispers, and he's trying to be calmer and maybe slow her down a little bit. But she kind of eventually, it seems like, gives up and gets up and walks off in a huff, and you can hear her heels clicking throughout the entire casino as she leaves. The music is low. Normally it's very loud when the casino is very full, but because it's not, the music still exists, but it's not as peppy and bright and loud. And there are only 2 people working at the cashing stations for chips.
So, Hans, seems like a lot has changed in the last few months since we were last here.
Oh, you have no idea.
I take it Taniel's tightening his fist again?
It's not Taniel. Taniel and I are fine. Well, as fine as I can be with one of his stature. No, this is the work of our friend Empirico.
Glad to hear he's
Running the middle city? Yes, he is. I'm glad that you've noticed. Now, I am, as you can see, an extremely busy individual. What can I do for you, my friend?
Well, I was hoping you might be willing to go in with us on a bit of a, shall we say, a run on the house, but not your house. I wouldn't do that to you. But maybe one of the more established houses.
How much are we talking? Because you're speaking my language.
I was thinking we could easily make, if we play our cards right, some of those sabak pots can get up to, ship level sums.
Now, my dear friend, why do you need a ship?
Oh, someone's got to be able to get around this place from time to time. Usually helps to have one.
I am afraid I don't know any games going on currently. Mr. Udell, how about you? What have you heard on the Gambler's Vine of late?
Okay, time.
Yeah, okay.
So out of character here. So is this something that I would need to do like a knowledge underworld check for, or is it just something you want me to
Dude,
make
just
up
throw
on the fly?
something out there. Yeah,
Okay.
just throw something out there. It's fun. Because like there's no obstacle for the getting
Okay.
funding. I'm just kind of role playing
All
through
right.
it.
So I'll go there. So it's good to see you again. But to answer your question, I thought Empirico had a few little places down here that are kind of tucked away where he could do a little bit of the under the table kind of dealings. Some of those cantinas that I used to visit. How about we take him for a little bit of a run? Maybe not him directly, but his supply chain.
I think that could be very interesting. But I have to run this place.
Well, all we're suggesting is maybe we all sit down at one of those tables and start playing a friendly game of sabacc, and maybe I lose to you a few times, we sucker a few people in, and then we just slam the door shut on them.
And then the pretty lady shows up and maybe cools one side of the table down while it heats up the other. You know, we've played this game before. And I kind of slick my hair back a little bit.
Split some profits.
I get the sense that this dance you're doing has to do with that big ship in the sky in some way. And the last time you played that song, I lost my customers. I cannot risk to lose the rest of my business. But I can risk some money.
You willing to
How
stake us?
far do you think you could take 2,000 credits?
Udell lights up with a big old grin on his face. As far as I need to.
Then that is what I can offer. And he kind of pulls out a couple of sticks and slides them your way. This should get you into any of the tournaments you speak of.
Fair enough. And what are you looking for in return on this? And nothing's for free. I know that.
Let's call this a favor to and I'm going to assume he's enough of a contact within the resistance that he kind of knows some things about you. And nobody else is at the table, so when he says this, it's not really that jarring, but he says, let's say this is a favor to our princess here.
Yes. Yes, she is.
Perhaps one day I'll need a favor too.
I just give him a sly grin. I know those don't come cheap, but we might have an accord. Just don't ask for more than your head.
My head is very valuable.
I'm aware.
I hope to see you two safely soon. Now please, leave before I get shot. All right, and it is upon leaving that Lucia, you guys walk out of this casino. It's not broad daylight. It's probably late evening. But as you walk out, there is somebody walking in. Somebody who you recognize from your childhood. This was another student aboard the Star Destroyer when you lived there for a short time. And it's not so much that he recognizes your face immediately, but like you guys bump into each other, and because of that you reflexively catch eyes, and it's like when he sees your eyes, he immediately knows who you are and says, Zerial? Is that you? My God, I haven't seen you in years. I didn't know you were even on Terrace.
I try to feign ignorance. It's that split second that he may have seen through it, but I'm going to try to deceive my way of, like, who is this Zerial? I have no idea of who you speak.
All right, go ahead and make a deception check and give me just a moment to get you your difficulty.
While that's happening, I'd like to kind of bump into him
Okay.
and basically go almost split the two of them.
Okay.
And
So kind of get them separated.
not separated, but almost like his focus has to shift towards me, take his eyes off of her,
Okay.
and then say, was it? I'm just gonna throw out a name out there. So, Rebecca, we need to go. We're late.
Nice. Good, solid one. So that'll be a combined deception, I think. So who has the higher deception?
3 ranks and 4 cunning.
1 rank and 4 cunning.
Okay, so you'll use your cunning, his ranks, and toss in a boost. So you'll have 3 ranks of deception essentially here.
Yep. And a boost, you said?
Yeah.
All right.
And your difficulty is going to be...
Before you give that to me, I just want to ask if this will work.
Okay.
As one of my traits as a thief, I have the indistinguishable trait, which upgrades the difficulty checks to identify the character once per rank of indistinguishable.
Yeah, you'll get an upgrade on your check.
Okay, so basically I'll get 4 yellows as opposed to...
Yes.
So we'll reverse upgrade it, basically, because normally it upgrades the difficulty of them identifying me, but since...
Yeah.
Cool.
So your difficulty is going to be 2 red, 1 purple, and 1 black.
Okay.
Do you guys want to use a light side point to upgrade your check again?
I would like to ask a question before we make that decision.
Yeah, go for
mechanically
it.
speaking.
Yep.
Can he use my second chances because it's a combined check? So
How does
he's
second
physically making the
chances
roll.
work?
Basically, what it is it's once per scene. So the way it's written down is once per encounter, choose a number of positive dice equal to the ranks of second chance and re-roll them. So he can take, but he has to take whatever comes out on them. So it would be, I have 2 ranks. So
I'll
theoretically,
say he could use that on his boost.
Okay.
If the boost is bad, you can reroll that one.
Okay. The pool seems heavily in our favor, but that doesn't mean anything. Where are we point-wise?
No, we're way
You
ahead.
guys have 7.
Go.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and spend it. Is the force convert?
Nope.
Okay. I was just about to ask, are we about to roll a force die, but... Alright, is the pool good?
Yes, it is.
Okay. That, and basically that, and that. Get out of there. That, and that. 3 successes, a triumph, and 2 advantage.
Nice. So, he does. He second guesses long enough for you guys to get out of the way. You just kind of grab her by the arm, and you're moving, quote, Rebecca down the street. And this guy is staring off at you. You've gotten away from him. The deception worked in the sense that, like, he paused long enough. But I won't say that, like, he's not going to wonder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. And that's more or less acceptable. What
Yeah.
I'd like to spend the 2 advantage on before I get to the triumph, because I have an idea for the triumph,
Okay.
is that he doesn't see where I go. Like he's still flabbergasted at the door, like having maybe some of those throwback memories that.
Yeah, you guys disappear into the crowd.
Right, and so
Okay.
I'd like to have those be the 2 advantage.
Sounds great.
So that way he can't follow us. The triumph, however, is that no house mics, no recording devices picked up the conversation.
Yeah, that'll work.
That was a good call.
That is a good call. All right. So you guys make it out with 2,000 credits. You guys go to gamble these credits away to get this
These credits away.
ship.
What are you planning?
and,
Udell's done really good in his gambling rolls so far in this Star Wars adventure.
He actually has.
You really have. So you guys are gonna go try to get into this kind of gambling ring and or this illegal outfit that Empirico has running in the Middle City, which is a pretty risky maneuver for most of you guys, if not all of you. So how are you intending to go about that? Obviously, people know that you're wanted, and we've pretty well established that. So what's the plan there?
I'm going to disguise myself as more of a... they look just like the Nemoidians.
Duro?
Duro.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and, maybe
Just blue paint.
blue paint a little bit and see what I can do.
So I'm going to ask to use Kiklik's disguise kit. Like, I figure we go back, we let Lugnug know.
Now, his disguise kit is made to make somebody look like a droid.
Oh, is that all it does?
Yeah, specifically.
Oh, well, damn.
Oh,
It's not a universal disguise kit with all disguises.
No, I get that, but I was hoping like basically there would be like hair dye and some other common rote disguise based stuff.
No, there's like, what did you say, blue? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Blue skin paint.
Okay, then I would just go to.
I paid 200
That's
credits
shiny.
for blue skin paint. Oh my
Well,
God.
you there's more to it than that. That was just kind of like the key thing of like,
Okay.
you bought it to make yourself
Could
appear
I
like a
spend
droid.
some of my credits then to go buy? I'm sure they've got a pharmacy equivalent to where I could get some hair dye and maybe a decent to somewhat fancy but revealing dress.
Sure. How many credits you got?
1,500.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you haven't spent any of it.
Nope.
Okay, great. So yeah, you can definitely do that. Is a solid 100 credits for the the cut and dye. I know how much those cost. And
So do the carpet match the drapes?
no, that's why would no cut.
You set it up. I could not take
No,
that.
you could have not.
Nope.
You could have not. And
Sorry,
then,
I
I'm gonna say a dress, depending on how how many credits you want to spend on a dress. Like a normal, everyday, average, like sundress type dress is gonna be like 20 credits. Maybe.
no, I want it to be fairly like
You're
again
going like elegant,
elegant / show.
Revealing.
casino elegant.
Yes.
So we'll say 175.
It's got sequins.
You look real Vegas.
Exactly.
And what color do you dye your hair?
He wants it to be uniform.
Blonde.
Blonde? Okay.
I already have white hair, so blonde's not
Sure.
that far of a stretch, but it would at least give me enough leeway to be like, no, that can't be. They're looking for a white-haired chick, not a blonde-haired chick.
Yeah.
You almost want to go brunette at that point, though. You want to get as far away as possible.
No, because
Reasons. Anyway, we're not going to discuss hair dye for that long on this podcast. All right.
but I look pretty.
So how do you do the belle of the ball? Udell, how do you disguise yourself?
I think it's just going to be, very simple, more kind of like traveler-esque kind of clothes. And then, he's going to paint himself, the revealed skin blue.
Yeah.
And just try and make sure that he's looking more like a Duro than...
Now, I will say this. Undu's accent in this world is the Durosian accent.
You're gonna have to do it for me one more time because I don't know.
It's very like
All right, I got it. We're
old
good to
haggard Clint Eastwood.
go. All right, well we can do that.
Merle Haggard.
You could pull a Luke Skywalker and put some tape around the wrinkles that his face has and pull it back.
All right, so
I got a Roger hairnet on.
So if you're gonna maintain that level of the disguise, I'll give you a full upgrade for your deception checks.
All right.
Hey.
Cool. So you guys hop into probably a rental speeder to get to this place, and you pull up to essentially like what looks initially like a fish market in the middle city. It's kind of like this is where you can come to get fresh meat without having to go to the lower city. Congratulations. And it's through this fish market that you're able to gain access into one of these card games. You're led down a small stairwell through a smaller alleyway, like barely one person wide fits through this alleyway, and through a door that you have to hunch your head to get through. And you emerge into a room full of smoke, vials of who knows what drugs lining the walls.
Are they death sticks?
It's not death sticks, but it's like things like they've probably got some death sticks. They've got some booster blue. They've got all kinds of stuff lining these walls. And you see two waitresses bustling about as two tables are going at it, both playing sabacc. And you can probably surmise that this is a two-table tournament, and the two of you are here to party. And
I proc my elbow to Udell, and basically I look like his hot date for the night.
Okay, great. It's at this point that we're going to go ahead and shift over to Kuklik and Cal. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Kuklik and Cal. You guys have been kind of left in the underground, sort of exploring the machinations of this new room and area that you've found. Cal, you're probably there for some kind of protection. With Kuklik, and Galak is with you guys.
Okay.
Sorry. Wow. Gotta get that out. So you guys are in this area. You've got glow rods that are glowing a dim green as you guys move through. You've got your rave sticks. Galak has a portable Bluetooth speaker hooked to the back of his carapace as you guys go.
He's got a backwards hat on like this.
Actually, I love that. This is canon now.
He's wearing baggy cargo shorts.
Yes.
Somewhere across the galaxy, there's a 90s douchebag.
Man, I love this.
The cheat. We did not install that light switch just so you can have light switch raves.
The cheat is grounded. All right, so you guys are listening to this cantina music
The system is down.
through the Bluetooth speaker. It's very boom 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 boom. Okay.
Click turns it off.
This is happening through Galak. Galak slaps your hand. I like this song, brother.
I can't concentrate, brother.
Well, it's not for you. It's for the voice in our head.
It's for our listening audience.
That's right. I'm glad you get it. So you guys are wandering through this area full of, it looks like computer networks of some kind. There are kind of not exposed cables, but it's almost like conduit that you can see lining the walls of this building. As you guys wander around, you're kind of looking for, when we get a fuel cell, what the heck do we do with it? Where do we put it?
Now, let me get this right. We discovered this when we were drilling, and so this is all underground.
Yes, this is all underground.
Can we tell how old? Can I tell?
Very, very,
very
old.
old.
This was built and covered up before the bombings of Terrace in the like Old Republic.
So there's an ancient civilization that was on this planet.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
is
and
this
for-
alien technology even to me?
Everything is alien
Now,
technology.
then it would be Callist that probably would be the most likely to be with us because he is the expert in Rakatan
So-
and ancient.
Yes, but you don't know if this is Rakatan or ancient.
Okay.
You guys don't know anything about it. It's so dark
Okay,
and dim that
so
there's,
we've just discovered this.
you've
and
just
now-
discovered it in the last like maybe couple weeks.
Okay.
And so you're now kind of in the process of searching, and because you've got more training specifically in mechanics and how to make that kind of stuff work,
Got you.
You've been assigned like the job of, hey, you're the closest thing we have to an engineer. Go.
I am an engineer.
Yeah, well, we've had this discussion. You're
I
a
know.
pilot who knows how to do engineering.
Technically, I'm a mechanic that knows how to
Technically, you're a
fly.
That's true. Yeah. Gosh, this thing's getting all kinds of kerfuffle.
All right. Anyway,
So you guys are wandering through this area underneath the undercity of Terra. So this is even lower than the undercity, if you can imagine. And as you guys are searching, you're probably in your 5th or 6th room. You hear some clattering in the distance, not too far away from where you are now. What do you think that is, Cal? And Galak draws
the
a
accent,
small blaster.
the accent in this world for VerPeen is, "What do you think this is, Cal?"
Listen, I'm not going to do that. So we're going to move on.
Okay, Udell, you hear that?
It's a bad accent, okay?
I'm not entirely too sure what. And he takes a second. He's like, just give me a minute. He reaches down, and you see 2 flasks on his utility belt, and he just grabs one of them, starts taking a drink. There's no better way to find out than going to look, huh?
That is probably true.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start heading towards the where we heard the sound coming from. Y'all stay behind me.
All right. So they do, in fact, stay behind you, I imagine. And as you guys wander through these hallways, you hear kind of some clattering again, and you hear some skittering and almost like jump scare style. A kind of centipede-looking thing rushes across the hallway from one room to another.
How big is this centipede thing?
Fairly big, probably as big as like a human leg.
I'm gonna get the blaster pistols out.
Okay, so you put the glow sticks away. Who's carrying the glow sticks?
I will carry the glow sticks.
Okay, Click has the glow sticks. Great.
Do we have flashlights or just the glow sticks?
The glow sticks are flashlights.
Okay, I will be shining it. Do we need to make a perception check?
Yeah, if you guys are trying to look for whatever this thing is, as you like approach that room that it ran into, though, you can't see it.
Okay, what's the difficulty?
It'll be average
Average.
to
Okay.
perceive.
One threat and one success with a triumph.
1 success and 2 threat.
Okay. So you both succeeded. So you both see a hole kind of in the corner of the wall that this thing probably slid through and underneath. So even though most of these rooms seem connected, like it seems like one big maze of building and rooms, there is some sort of like pocket of air or space outside of these walls. You see through one of these cracks it's almost like a leftover radiation, like it's like the rock behind this hole is dimly glowing blue.
Would we have? I don't have a toolkit. I've got a utility belt.
With no utilities.
No, exactly. So we wouldn't have a Geiger counter or anything like that, because I would immediately.
No. Well, unless one of you guys has a portable scanner of some kind.
Yes, Rick, you do.
So what are you doing to get this portable scanner, Rick?
What am I doing? My triumph.
No.
No, I don't want to.
What are you doing?
I'll flip a dark side point.
You mean a light side point? Yeah.
Well, I'd rather flip a dark side point. If I
I know you
it's
would.
it's an evil portable scanner.
It's a portable scanner that tells us when there isn't any.
Yeah, it just lies to you.
So you have a portable scanner that can scan for
radiation,
basically
and
life forms and specific kinds of radiation, but it's picking up something from this rock.
Okay. How thick is the wall?
It's not super thick, 8 inches maybe.
Okay, and
it's not like solid rock or anything.
okay, because being as from where I come from, I would be very familiar with underground and all the mining or drilling techniques.
Sure.
So does it look like this is a crack that goes into a rough, basically natural cavern?
Yes. Yeah, that is what it seems like.
And it's radioactive in the natural cavern.
Well, it's picking up something.
And this critter went in there.
Yes.
Well, I don't really want to open it up.
Yeah, it probably isn't a good idea right now.
A rancor on terrace.
Unheard
It's
of.
only this big. Yeah. It's a baby rancor.
Ooh, no, those are worse.
Okay, can I pick up how many if there are multiple life signs?
It doesn't give you like that kind of detail. Like if you're scanning something, it would pick it up, but it's not like a radar that's picking up life signs.
Okay, it's not like
it's like you have to physically be scanning it.
Okay. Okay, can I tell from the layout of the rooms that if we are encircling this cavern?
Yeah, you can probably get a sense of in some way you're encircling it a little bit. But you don't know that that's the purpose of this place.
Right. Can I tell if there are cables running into the walls?
Yes.
That would run towards this cavern?
Yes.
Can I do a mechanics check to see if I think that possibly that inside of there is where the power generation would have come from originally, and maybe when it failed, it created this... Basically, because of where the cables are
you can see if this
running,
radiation has to do with the power failure.
Possibly, or as a result of the power failure. Like this was the power. The power generation was encased inside this room, and when it failed, it created the radiation. This is all left over because of where the cables are going, and
So I think it makes sense that you would be able to do that if you were to take a sample of the rock and put it into your scanner.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, fair enough.
So, when you reach down to peel off a part of the rock, to even just grab a pebble or whatever you can find.
Well, I'm not going to touch it with my bare hand.
No. You don't have to. That's fine. When you reach down, either with a glove or tongs or whatever, you certainly have something with you for this purpose.
Right.
As soon as you touch it, it's almost like you feel like something is attacking you from behind. It's like a flash of light inside of your mind that kind of ignites the room for a moment, as if the lights are all on and everything's working and everything's fine, and you see the whitened walls of this room and the power is ignited, and you see the different sensors and buttons and everything is beeping and working perfectly in tandem and fine, and you see a being walk past the doorway to the room that you guys are in, where you just were. The being is tall. It has kind of a peach and salmon colored skin, it almost looks like a Mon Calamari but its head goes like real far back.
Almost like an alien.
Yeah, almost like similar to like Predator. It's just got a really long head, and it ends with two beady eyes in the front, and an interesting mouth structure with some semi-sharp teeth, and it's staring down at some sort of pad and writing with some primitive utensil. We would recognize it as some kind of a pencil or pen or something like that, but it's kind of writing on this thing and looks at a pad on the wall and makes a note and continues walking along its way, and then suddenly the lights are back off and everything is back to normal.
And that was just like
that was just like it flashes like 2 seconds. You see this thing come up, check the wall, and keep going.
Okay. I'm going to use I had a triumph in my perception to determine whether this was the force that was
Yes,
interacting.
absolutely. This was the force.
Could I tell if it was dark side?
You can't tell that. You don't have that kind of a training. It doesn't feel aggravated or animosity. It doesn't feel like angry or anything like that. But we're going to go ahead and stop the session here. Thanks so much for listening. We look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Until then, keep on adventuring.
Good night.
Good night.